Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Astronomer, a quiet corner of the cosmos, where impossible questions become gentle whispers before sleep, and the universe unfolds one thought at a time. Tonight, we drift through a question that has haunted both dreamers and scientists alike. Could time travel ever be real? And if it were, would it rewrite everything we know about nature itself? Imagine standing at the edge of a moment, able to step backward into what has already been, or forward into what has not yet happened. Every choice, every second, no longer fixed, but fluid, like waves folding upon themselves. In physics, time is not a river flowing one way. It is a dimension, woven with space, curved and stretched by gravity and motion. Some equations even suggest that, under the right conditions, the past and future could touch, that loops in spacetime might let us circle through our own history. But what happens if you could return to yesterday? Could you change it? Could you undo what has already shaped you? Or would time, patient and unyielding, find a way to keep its balance no matter what you do? Breathe slowly now, and feel the pull of time around you, each heartbeat, each thought, each memory a thread in the fabric that keeps reality whole. We'll follow those threads tonight, across paradoxes and possibilities, across moments where science meets wonder. This is the Sleepy Astronomer. And tonight, we travel not through space, but through the mystery of time itself, to ask whether it can ever truly be rewritten. Time begins quietly, not with the bang of a clock or the flash of a cosmic explosion, but with the soft awareness that something is moving, always moving, even when you are still. You feel it in your breathing, the way each inhale becomes the past as soon as it ends. You feel it in your heartbeat, in the pulse that never stops to ask permission. Time flows through you, unseen yet unyielding, shaping the rhythm of your being. You've lived with time your whole life, but rarely do you stop to meet it. It surrounds you like air, invisible, necessary, always there. You measure it with calendars and clocks, yet none of these truly capture what it is. They only offer symbols, translations of something much larger, much gentler. For time itself doesn't tick. It breathes. Imagine standing beside a quiet river at dusk. The water moves, though it looks still at first glance. Tiny ripples fold into one another, carrying reflections of fading light downstream. That river is time. You cannot grasp it, yet it carries you. You cannot swim backward, yet you are always part of its motion. Each second is a droplet sliding away, leaving behind the shimmer of memory. Your mind, however, doesn't always agree with this steady current. It loves to wander upstream, into what was, replaying old scenes in its theater of thought. It also loves to drift downstream, into what might be, dreaming, worrying, anticipating. But your body never moves backward or forward. It always stays here, in this eternal now. Every cell, every nerve, lives only in the present moment, unfolding one heartbeat at a time. Scientists call this flow the arrow of time, always forward, never back. But before physics named it, poets felt it. Philosophers pondered it. Every culture found its own metaphor, a river, a wheel, a burning flame, a song that never repeats the same note twice. Time has been described as an ocean we sail upon, a shadow cast by motion, even a whisper of eternity breaking into moments. You are part of that whisper. As you listen to the rhythm of your breath, you can sense how time and life are inseparable. Without time, there would be no change, and without change, no life. The cells in your skin renew, your thoughts evolve, your memories grow roots and branches. Every transformation, from the blooming of a flower to the cooling of a star, is time speaking through matter. And yet, despite its constancy, time feels different depending on how you move through it. A joyful afternoon disappears in a blink. A moment of pain can feel like hours. This isn't a trick of clocks. It's the way your mind bends time around emotion. Inside your consciousness, time is elastic, stretching and compressing, like breath. The more present you are, the slower it seems to flow. Think of a child watching raindrops on a window. For them, each drop feels vast, each second deep and full. But as you grow older, you learn to rush, to divide the day into tasks, to race the ticking hands of the clock. Time begins to feel thinner, faster. The days blur. Yet nothing has changed except your attention. The flow remains the same, only your way of touching it shifts. If you close your eyes now, you can return to that childlike perception, to the slow world where 1 second feels infinite. In that stillness, time becomes visible again, not as a force to fight, but as a companion. You and time have always been walking together, step for step, from the first flicker of your heart in the womb to this very breath. In physics, time is treated as a dimension, like length or width, but one you can only move through in one direction. Space and time, together, form the fabric of reality, spacetime. This fabric stretches and folds with gravity, bends with motion. It's astonishing to think that even as you sit still, you're gliding through this invisible structure at every moment, moving into new coordinates of existence. You are never in the same place in time twice. But for tonight, you don't need equations or measurements. You need only awareness. Listen to the seconds as they pass, not as losses, but as gifts. Time gives meaning to everything it touches, a sunset, a melody, a fleeting smile. The beauty of a moment lies precisely in its impermanence. If it could last forever, it would no longer be alive. This is the gentle paradox. We long to hold on to moments, yet their passing is what makes them precious. The stars that shine above you now are already old, their light traveling across unimaginable distances just to reach your eyes. You are, in this instant, looking into the past. Every photon tells you a story written long before you were born. The entire night sky is a museum of time. And so, time is not just a flow, it's a bridge. It connects you to everything that ever was, and everything that will be. The iron in your blood was forged in ancient stars that exploded before Earth even existed. You carry that history inside you, woven into your very atoms. You are not merely passing through time, time is passing through you. When you breathe in, you take in air that once touched mountains, oceans, the lungs of countless beings. Each molecule has its own timeline, its own record of movement. You are a meeting place for infinite stories, all converging in this single, fragile now. In the end, perhaps time is not something outside you, flowing past like water in a stream. Perhaps it is something within, the pulse of the universe beating through your consciousness. Every moment you live is the universe experiencing itself, again and again, in different forms. So as you lie here, let yourself drift with the flow. Feel the slow pull of the current carrying you gently forward, not toward loss, but toward transformation. Let time cradle you, not as an enemy to conquer, but as a rhythm to rest within. For tomorrow, you will learn that this rhythm is not constant. That time, under the gaze of physics, bends and stretches, that the seconds you feel are not always the same for everyone. But for now, let yourself float. The river is kind. And somewhere ahead, in the still waters of the present, the physics of now quietly waits. There is a silence between moments, a pause so thin you rarely notice it. Yet here, within that silence, everything that is real exists. This is the present. The only point in all of time that ever truly belongs to you. You might imagine time as a road stretching endlessly in both directions, past behind, future ahead, and yourself as a traveler moving forward one step at a time. But physics tells a subtler story. It whispers that the traveler and the road are inseparable. The steps you take do not lead you through time, they create time. Pause for a breath. Feel the air enter your lungs. That is the now. The instant of awareness before memory forms, before thought assigns meaning. By the time you notice it, it's already gone, absorbed into the past, joining the stream of moments that came before. The present is both everything and nothing, infinite in importance, fleeting in duration. Your brain is not built to live entirely in this instant. Instead, it constructs the feeling of continuity, of one second following another, through memory and prediction. Each moment you experience is stitched together by your mind like frames in a film reel. When those frames flicker quickly enough, you perceive motion. When your neurons fire in patterns, you perceive time. Neuroscientists say that consciousness lags slightly behind reality. The now you feel is already a fraction of a second old. Your brain takes in sensory data, processes it, then presents you with a version of the world that feels seamless and immediate. It's as if you are always looking at the universe's photograph just after it's been taken. But what a beautiful illusion it is. The physics of now is not a fixed point, it's an emergent harmony. Each atom, each neuron, vibrates within spacetime's fabric, creating the illusion of a continuous present. You exist in a delicate balance between what has happened and what is yet to happen, between memory and expectation. Imagine standing still in a field at night. The stars above you are ancient. Their light left them thousands, even millions, of years ago. When you gaze at them, you are not seeing them now. You are seeing their past shining into your present. Even the moon, so close and bright, shows you light that left its surface over a second ago. Everywhere you look, the present is a collage of delayed messages. Physics defines the present differently than the mind does. In Einstein's theory of relativity, now depends on where you stand and how fast you move. Two observers in different places, traveling at different speeds, will not agree on what moments are simultaneous. There is no universal clock ticking across the cosmos, no shared heartbeat of time. Each point in space carries its own present. You, reading this sentence, have your own slice of the universe, and now unique to you. Every person, every particle, experiences their version of the present. It's as though the universe holds billions of overlapping songs, each playing at its own tempo, yet somehow forming one grand symphony of existence. If you could step outside this symphony, outside time itself, what would you find? Physicists suspect you'd see something like a vast, four-dimensional structure, spacetime. Within it, past, present, and future coexist, laid out like pages in a single, completed book. You experience those pages one at a time because your consciousness moves linearly, turning each page in order. But the book already exists in its entirety. This idea, called the block universe, suggests that time doesn't flow, we do. You drift through the static geometry of reality, giving motion and meaning to what might otherwise be still. Yet to your senses, the illusion is perfect. You feel the seconds passing, the sun setting, your heartbeat slowing, and that movement feels undeniably real. So perhaps the physics of now is not about clocks or coordinates, but about perspective. Time may be a landscape, but your awareness is the traveler walking through it. The road doesn't move, you do. And in doing so, you bring the still universe to life. Think again of your breath. Each inhale pulls in the present. Each exhale lets it go. The rhythm is gentle, cyclical, infinite. It's the simplest reminder that now is not a static pause, but a pulse, an oscillation between being and becoming. In moments of deep presence, when you lose yourself in music, in starlight, in the face of someone you love, time seems to vanish. That feeling is not an escape from physics, it's a glimpse into its essence. When your mind stops labeling the sequence of events, you experience reality as it truly is, undivided, timeless, whole. The physicist Julian Barber once proposed that time itself might be an illusion, that the universe is a collection of nows, like frames of a cosmic film, existing simultaneously. You never move through time. You simply shift from one configuration to another. Each frame contains its own version of you, frozen yet complete. The sense of motion between them arises from memory, a whisper of continuity echoing inside your brain. If this is true, then every moment you've ever lived still exists, preserved in the architecture of space-time. Every laugh, every tear, every heartbeat, all still there, forever held within the structure of the universe. You don't lose time. You expand through it. But here, in your quiet room, surrounded by the hush of evening, all that theory softens into something simple. The now is this breath. The weight of your body against the world. The awareness that you are here, awake, alive. You can let the future wait. It's not running ahead of you. It's already part of the same tapestry. You can let the past rest. It's still written in the fabric that holds you. Everything that matters, every thought, every possibility, is woven into this singular instant. Now is where physics meets wonder. The equations describe it, but only experience reveals it. You live inside an ongoing miracle, the emergence of awareness in a universe that is mostly silent, mostly still, yet capable of perceiving itself through you. As you drift deeper into calm, you begin to feel that time doesn't flow around you, it unfolds within you. You are both the observer and the clock, the traveler and the map. Every tick is a heartbeat, every second a note in the quiet song of being. Stay here a little longer, in this fragile equilibrium between thought and silence. For soon, you will follow time's arrow, the great, irreversible current that defines direction in the universe. You will feel how energy and change give time its shape, how the cosmos itself remembers which way is forward. But for now, you rest inside the still center of the clock. The second hand pauses. The world holds its breath. And you listen to the sound of now. Time, you realize, is not just a river, it is also an arrow, precise, unyielding, always pointing forward. You feel it in the slow unraveling of everything around you. The untouched book on your nightstand will not return to its previous state if you drop it and scatter its pages. The candle's flame, once spent, cannot reignite on its own. Entropy, the quiet measure of disorder, is the force shaping this direction, this inevitability. Imagine a sandcastle at the edge of the ocean. Each wave sweeps grains away, and no matter how many hands rebuild it, the castle's perfect towers will eventually collapse. That collapse is not an accident. It is the nature of the universe whispering a fundamental truth. Some changes cannot be reversed. The universe keeps moving, and you move with it. Everywhere you look, the arrow is evident. The sun burns hydrogen into helium, releasing energy that sustains life, yet gradually consumes itself. Stars, magnificent and bright, grow old and die. Their light reaches you from distances so vast that when it touches your eyes, it carries a story of a past that can never be relived. Even the ice on a lake melts, never reassembling spontaneously. Each process hints at the same cosmic rhythm, forward, onward, irreversible. Yet, your mind wonders, could this arrow ever bend? Could broken eggs reassemble? Could smoke gather back into fire? Could the past itself unfold anew? You feel a quiet tension between imagination and law, between longing and understanding. Physics permits thought experiments, unlikely worlds where reversals happen, but reality, in its patient insistence, holds firm. Entropy is not chaos without meaning. Rather, it is a slow symphony, orchestrating transformations that create new possibilities. A decaying leaf enriches the soil, a collapsing star seeds new systems, and your own aging provides the backdrop against which life gains depth. Forward motion, the arrow of time, is not loss alone. It is creation hidden within change. You notice this arrow in the small, personal moments too. The warmth of coffee you sip gradually cools. A child's laughter echoes and fades. Conversations, no matter how vivid, retreat into memory. You cannot step back into them. They exist only as recollections, as traces. The arrow of time is intimate as well as universal. embedded in the molecules of experience. Physics gives this arrow a name, the thermodynamic arrow of time. It is grounded in energy and probability. In any closed system, disorder tends to increase because there are vastly more ways for things to be disordered than ordered. A shuffled deck of cards rarely returns to perfect sequence by itself. Yet, your mind, attuned to patterns, senses the difference and feels the tension, a longing for symmetry where there is none. And still, you watch carefully. You begin to see exceptions, tiny ones, in the dance of particles. At microscopic scales, where quantum rules govern, some interactions can reverse briefly. A single atom might move in a direction that seems to defy the macroscopic trend. But these are fleeting whispers in a vast, consistent song. The arrow never bends for the systems you inhabit, for the stars, for the sun, for your body. It points one way, faithfully, inevitably. Consider water freezing into ice. At first, molecules move freely, vibrating in random motion. As temperature drops, they settle into a structured lattice, a fleeting moment of decreased entropy locally. But around them, heat escapes, energy spreads, and the total entropy of the surroundings grows. The arrow points on, unbroken. The universe's bookkeeping is precise, local pockets of order are temporary, the total ledger of change always increases. You feel this arrow in the rhythm of life itself. Birth and decay, growth and erosion, memory forming and forgetting, every experience is colored by this forward push. You cannot eat yesterday's meal. You cannot relive a conversation in its exactness. Even your own body, exquisite and intricate, is subject to this relentless flow. Every cell ages, every molecule rearranges. Time moves, and you move with it. In human history, this arrow manifests as civilizations rising and falling, as mountains eroding, rivers carving valleys, and empires dissolving into memory. Even the grandest achievements are eventually reclaimed by entropy. And yet, in each passing moment, life writes its temporary order upon the world, resisting the arrow only briefly before surrendering. It is a dance of persistence and acceptance. You notice how the arrow feels personal as well. When you grieve a loss, it is the arrow that carries you forward into healing. When you rejoice, it is the arrow that allows moments to pass and make room for new experiences. Entropy, in this sense, is not merely destruction. It is the gentle insistence that life continues, that experiences flow, that learning and growth are inevitable. Your imagination lingers on what it would mean if the arrow bent. Could the universe remember itself differently? Could time rewind its stories? The thought is enticing, but physics whispers caution. Macroscopic reversals, the things you can see, touch, and feel, remain practically impossible. The arrow, though invisible, is relentless. It is the subtle pulse beneath every heartbeat, the quiet insistence beneath every sunrise and sunset. And yet, pondering this arrow is a meditation in itself. You begin to see the beauty in the irreversible. Each fallen leaf, each fading star, each breath taken and released, contributes to a narrative that could not exist in reverse. The arrow shapes meaning, sculpting moments into experiences that are unique, unrepeatable, precious. You are part of this ongoing flow, a witness to change, a traveler along a path that never curves backward. The arrow also prepares you for understanding the universe at larger scales. You will come to see how motion, energy, and gravity bend time itself. How the seconds you feel are not the same for all observers. And how even as the arrow insists on forward motion, the currents of spacetime can stretch and compress, creating rhythms that seem to float between moments. So you settle into the awareness of entropy, letting the quiet insistence of the arrow guide your thoughts. You feel it everywhere, in the cooling of the night air, in the fading light of the moon, in the gentle softening of muscles as you lie down. It is a pulse beneath the pulse, a rhythm beneath the breath, a reminder that time, though unstoppable, is also tender. And somewhere in the distance, you sense that the river of time you feel in your body and around you is only part of a larger, bending fabric, a current shaped not only by entropy, but by gravity, by motion, by the invisible threads of spacetime. The arrow points forward, steady and unbroken, yet ahead lies a world where the flow itself begins to curve, where seconds stretch and bend like gentle waves along Einstein's river. Time is no longer a straight arrow. You feel it as a river, gentle yet unyielding, curving around the masses of planets and stars, bending with the weight of matter itself. Imagine standing on the shore of a broad, calm river. You watch how water bends around rocks, swirls in eddies, and stretches across wide plains. Space-time behaves the same way, carrying every heartbeat, every moment, along a path influenced by everything that exists. Einstein's insight changes how you perceive your world. Time is not absolute, fixed, or uniform. It flexes. It stretches and compresses depending on where you are and how you move. Your watch may tick steadily, but gravity and motion conspire to alter the rhythm subtly, invisibly. Close to a massive body, seconds linger, slower than those far away. The universe, once thought to have a universal clock, reveals itself to be a dynamic, flowing entity. You imagine orbiting a great planet. Near its surface, your heartbeat and your watch slow relative to someone floating far above, where gravity's pull is gentler. Your friend, suspended in emptier space, ages slightly faster. These differences are imperceptible in daily life, yet they accumulate, reminding you that time is personal, intimately tied to location and motion. You are drifting along a river whose current varies in speed depending on the landscape. Even motion alone can stretch moments. A spaceship racing near the speed of light experiences hours where centuries pass elsewhere. Time slows for the traveler, yet from a distance, their journey is fleeting. The river bends, the flow shifts, and you are invited to witness the subtle choreography of motion and time entwined. Your body, at rest on Earth, is part of this grand pattern, moving through space-time at a pace determined by the sum of all influences: gravity, speed, and the unseen geometry of the cosmos. Gravity itself is a sculptor of time. Massive objects warp space-time like stones in a pond, curving the paths of planets, comets, and light. Near these curves, time dilates. A second near a black hole can stretch into minutes, hours, even years to a distant observer. Your heart, your consciousness, ticks in harmony with the local rhythm of space-time, each pulse synchronized with the invisible tides around you. You imagine yourself at the edge of a massive star. Time flows slowly here, almost dreamlike, each moment lingering like a drop of honey suspended in air. You stretch your hand into the void, feeling the invisible pull of gravity bending reality itself. Farther away, the universe rushes past in relative speed, yet here, everything is elongated, softened, stretched. The contrast is quiet, imperceptible, yet profound. Even in the emptiest regions of space, time has its own rhythm. Without mass, without energy, it flows more freely, less constrained, faster. The river widens, spreading across the emptiness, unbound by the gravitational contours that shape denser regions. Here, seconds seem to slip through your fingers effortlessly, and the universe whispers the secret that time is never uniform, never singular, never absolute. You begin to understand that your perception of time is only one thread in the vast tapestry of space-time. While your mind measures seconds and minutes, the universe itself orchestrates durations across scales unimaginable. You are floating in a river whose flow is determined by forces far beyond your grasp, yet intimately intertwined with your experience. Consider how this flexibility affects causality. Events that appear simultaneous to you may unfold in a different order elsewhere. What you call the past, someone else might witness as the present. Your intuition, built on Earth's gentle gravity and slow speeds, becomes an approximation. The universe, in its richness, allows for perspectives that stretch and twist the flow of reality. Each observer holds their own version of now. Time is also a companion to light. The photons you see travel at a fixed speed, yet they experience no passage of time in their journey. From their perspective, the stars emit beams that instantly arrive, and the river of spacetime flows without delay. Yet for you, standing on Earth, the light has taken years, centuries, millennia to reach your eyes. You realize that each beam, each particle, travels its own path along the river, marking a different rhythm along the same current. Einstein's river is not chaotic. Its bends, eddies, and stretches follow strict rules, mapped by equations, predictable and elegant. Spacetime has structure, and within that structure, every planet, every moon, every particle finds its place. Yet for those of us drifting along its currents, the flexibility of time gives a feeling of wonder, a sense of intimacy with the cosmic dance. You notice that your body and your instruments do not always align. Your clock ticks at a steady mechanical pace, yet your perception of seconds fluctuates with attention, mood, and awareness. Time is simultaneously external and internal. The river carries both, the objective and the subjective, the measurable and the felt. In this duality, you find comfort. The universe is vast, but you are woven into its currents. Drifting further, you imagine the river stretching across galaxies, past clusters of stars, around black holes and neutron stars. Each bend, each mass, slows or quickens the flow locally, creating a complex symphony of durations. You are but one note in this melody, yet your awareness allows you to perceive it, to float gently on the waters, attuned to their hidden rhythms. And in this river, you begin to feel a new intimacy with time. It is no longer a rigid arrow, no longer a simple progression of seconds. It is a fluid companion, a current that shifts with mass, motion, and energy. You realize that while you cannot stop or reverse it, you can move with it, feel its stretches, notice its bends, and understand its subtle song. Soon, you will meet another revelation, that motion itself can dance with time, slowing or speeding its beat depending on your journey. You will learn that each traveler experiences their own rhythm, and that the universe holds a multiplicity of temporal currents, each as real as the other. For now, you float gently along Einstein's river, feeling its curves, its stretches, its bends, letting its gentle, flexible flow carry you deeper into understanding. The arrow of entropy still moves forward, yet now you see that the river can stretch, slow, and curve, inviting you to drift with it. Imagine yourself in a grand hall of space, a stage that stretches infinitely in all directions. The floor beneath you is spacetime itself, bending subtly under the weight of stars and planets. Here, you are a dancer, your movements dictating the rhythm of the world around you. Each step, each gesture, carries with it a subtle shift in the flow of time. As you begin to move, you notice something remarkable. The faster you glide, the slower the music of time seems to play. Seconds stretch, minutes linger, and your heartbeat follows the tempo of your own motion. Special relativity, Einstein's revelation, shows that there is no universal tick-tock. Time is a personal companion, shaped by the speed of your dance. You lift your arms, spinning gently. For you, the turn takes a breath, a moment, a heartbeat. Yet for someone observing from afar, your spin is compressed, faster, a fleeting flicker. Your perception of duration differs from theirs because motion reshapes the experience of time. You are simultaneously here and elsewhere, your own clock defining the pace of your journey. Close your eyes and drift in imagination. A spaceship glides past at near-light speed. Inside, the crew experiences hours. Outside, centuries have unfolded. The universe accommodates both realities, both rhythms. You understand now that each traveler carries their own clock within, a private pulse, a personal river of moments that can diverge from any other. Even ordinary motion on Earth has its subtle effects. Though imperceptible to the senses, every step, every car ride, Every flight through the sky slightly shifts the flow of time for you compared to someone else at rest. These differences are tiny, yet they remind you that motion and time are inseparable partners in the dance of existence. Your body, gracefully moving through this hall, becomes a living metronome. Your heart, your breath, your thoughts, all keep time with your motion. The faster you move, the more aware you become of the elasticity of now. Time is no longer an external ruler. It is an intimate rhythm, stretching or contracting with your own dance. Relativity invites you to imagine paradoxes without fear. Two dancers may start together, one moving swiftly across the hall while the other rests in place. When they meet again, one will have aged less than the other. It is not magic or trickery. It is the natural outcome of motion shaping the experience of time. The universe permits such variations, honoring the individual rhythm of every traveler. Consider your daily movements in this light. Walking to a window, reaching for a book, lifting your hand, each action has a subtle temporal signature. Your personal clock ticks in harmony with your pace. Even though differences from others are imperceptible, the principle remains. Motion reshapes moments, and the world bends its tempo around your steps. You imagine twirling across a cosmic ballroom, passing stars and planets. Each celestial mass curves the floor beneath you slightly, affecting the rhythm of your dance. Time bends near these bodies, stretching in the gravity wells, flowing more freely in emptier spaces. You feel these currents in your movement, adjusting with intuition, learning to ride the waves of spacetime as a skilled dancer would ride the music. Your mind, attuned to this rhythm, begins to notice patterns. The faster your motion relative to the surroundings, the slower your clock ticks compared to those you pass. You are simultaneously a participant and an observer, both shaping and witnessing the flow of moments. Time, once thought to be a rigid march, is now revealed as a flexible partner, responding to your every move. Even thought and imagination play into this dance. When you envision motion, even without moving, your mind experiences tiny shifts in perceived duration. You sense that reality is not uniform, that time is not a universal measure. Your awareness itself participates in shaping the rhythm, as if consciousness is another force in the hall, subtly adjusting the beat of your dance. Through this perspective, you begin to see life differently. Aging, waiting, anticipating, these are not merely processes imposed from outside. They are expressions of motion, both literal and metaphorical. Every choice, every step, every thought contributes to your unique experience of time. You are a dancer on a stage that stretches across the cosmos, and every movement matters. You feel gratitude for this flexibility. It allows for perspective, for understanding, for empathy. It allows you to see that others, moving differently through their own dances, experience the world in rhythms you might never notice. You are part of a vast choreography, each individual pulse contributing to the cosmic ballet. And yet, as you glide, you realize that this dance is both delicate and demanding. Motion shapes time, but it also obeys constraints. You cannot escape the arrow of entropy. You cannot rewind the past with a spin of your feet. The dance is forward-moving, stretching and bending, but never reversing. The personal rhythm of relativity flows within the universal current. You pause for a moment, standing in the center of the hall, feeling the stretch and compression of seconds around you. The sensation is meditative, calming, expansive. You feel the intimacy of time, the personal resonance that comes from understanding its flexibility. You are at once traveler and choreographer, shaping your experience even as the universe guides it. Motion, you realize, is liberation. It is an invitation to explore how life and time intertwine. Every step becomes a meditation, every breath a measure of the cosmic music that surrounds you. You are learning to dance with time itself, aware that each pulse, each shift, is both transient and eternal. And as you prepare to continue, you sense that there is still more to learn. Motion has revealed relativity, the personal rhythm of time. But light, the universe's swiftest messenger, holds secrets that will bend space and time even further, connecting every corner of existence in ways you are only beginning to sense. Close your eyes and imagine a single beam of light, leaving the surface of a distant star. It travels across space with perfect fidelity, untouched by fatigue or delay. For the photons themselves, the journey is instantaneous. Time, as they experience it, does not exist. They glide through the cosmos as though moving through an eternal present, a revelation that challenges your human sense of moments and durations. The speed of light is absolute, the universe's ultimate speed limit. Nothing, not even your thoughts, can overtake it. And yet, this unyielding constant carries profound implications for how space and time themselves are linked. You begin to understand that light is not just illumination. It is a messenger, a guide showing that the fabric of reality is elastic, responsive, and interwoven. As you follow the photon on its journey, you notice that it bends around massive objects. Planets, stars, galaxies, all warp the path, curving the light as it passes. Einstein called this gravitational lensing, and it is one of the universe's most subtle dances. You realize that the path of light is also the path of time. If space curves, time curves alongside it. The photon moves, but the very river through which it flows is shaped by the weight of matter. Imagine now standing near a massive black hole. A beam of light arcs gracefully around it, stretched, slowed from your perspective, though for the photon, motion is effortless. You see that time itself is flexible, inseparable from space. Seconds that tick normally for you stretch, contract, and twist near these gravitational giants. Light is the key, the silent witness, revealing the hidden geometry of the cosmos. Even here, far from stars or planets, light carries information. Cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, streams past you, each photon a messenger from 13 billion years ago. You realize that when you look into the night sky, you are not merely seeing light. You are seeing history, compressed into a fragile thread that connects distant past and present. The photon's journey becomes a bridge across time itself. Speed and perspective become intertwined. If you move alongside the photon, hypothetically at near-light speed, your experience of time changes dramatically. Distances shrink, seconds elongate, and familiar intuitions dissolve. You feel the relativity of simultaneity. What is now for one observer is then for another. Time and space are no longer separate entities. They are threads woven together into a single fabric. You sense that the universe is communicating through light. Every color, every intensity, every subtle shift in wavelength tells a story of motion, of energy, of gravity. The photon is a historian and a poet, tracing paths carved by matter and energy, recording the subtle curvature of space-time. You begin to understand that observing light is a way of reading the universe's diary. Your own eyes follow beams streaming through the room. Each particle of light entering your retina has traveled across countless distances, carrying information encoded in its frequency and phase. You feel a quiet intimacy with these messengers, the connection between observer and universe, between perception and reality, is instantaneous yet measured in the slow river of experience. Even in everyday life, the implications ripple subtly. Signals in fiber optics, radio waves, the faint glow of a candle, all travel at the speed of light, linking here and there, then and now. The cosmos is stitched together by these threads, each one a bridge between events, a quiet testament to the inextricable bond of space and time. You reflect on causality. Because nothing can surpass the speed of light, cause and effect remain preserved across the cosmos. The light that illuminates your hand now left its source in the past, and only in this precise sequence does reality maintain coherence. Yet within these constraints lies freedom. The fabric bends, photons curve, and the universe allows for beauty and complexity beyond immediate intuition. Even your perception of distance and duration depends on light. When a star twinkles, it is telling you a story that is both immediate and ancient. You realize that every observation is a dialogue across time, a whisper carried on a beam of light. The universe speaks, and you are listening, translating the dance of photons into understanding, into wonder. You consider the cosmic speed limit again. It feels like a boundary, but it is also a unifier. No matter where you are, no matter how fast you travel, light preserves its constancy. This invariance is what allows you to compare clocks, to measure distances, to navigate the rhythms of motion and change. Light is not just fast, it is absolute, the reference against which all other motions are measured. As you drift deeper into reflection, you sense that photons are more than particles, they are guides to the structure of reality. Their paths reveal the curvature of spacetime, the dilation of time, the relativity of simultaneity. Following them is like reading a map drawn in pure motion, showing where the river bends, where the arrow points, and where the currents stretch across cosmic expanses. And in this journey, you discover the intimacy of observation. Every photon entering your senses is a link across space and time, a silent companion on your voyage through understanding. You realize that through light, you are connected to every corner of the cosmos, to stars, galaxies, and the faint afterglow of creation itself. Time and space are inseparable, and yet, through light, you navigate both with wonder. You rest in this quiet knowledge, feeling the weave of space-time, the rhythm of photons, the intimate dance of motion and perception. The universe is vast, but it is also legible, written in the soft glow of light that reaches you across billions of years. Ahead, you will encounter paradoxes, shimmering gates where cause and effect tremble, and the logic of time itself bends. But for now, you float in the luminous river, aware that light holds the secret. Space and time are one, and the universe reveals itself to those who observe carefully, with patience, and with wonder. Imagine standing before a gate, suspended in space, shimmering with a faint, otherworldly light. It hums softly, as if the universe itself is whispering secrets it cannot fully contain. You feel a pull toward it, a curiosity tinged with caution, for this is no ordinary doorway. This is the paradox gate, the threshold where cause and effect, past and future, intertwine in ways that strain the mind. As you step closer, you feel the air thicken with questions. Could you journey backward and meet yourself as a child, a stranger, yet intimately familiar? Could a word spoken today ripple into yesterday, altering a memory that once seemed unchangeable? The gate invites these contemplations, each one a thread pulling at the fabric of reality. Physicists call these thought experiments paradoxes, and among the most famous is the grandfather paradox. You picture it softly. Someone travels into the past, prevents their grandfather from meeting their grandmother, and yet, paradoxically, erases their own existence. If they never existed, how could they have traveled back? Your mind stretches, balancing possibilities that seem simultaneously plausible and impossible. You realize that these paradoxes are not merely puzzles, they are reflections of time's delicate structure. Every action in the past has consequences, yet the past itself seems fixed, resistant to interference. Logic wavers at the threshold of the gate, for the universe allows imagination to probe the edges of causality, even if reality holds firm. Another image forms, a self-creating loop. A traveler leaves a note for their younger self, and that note becomes the reason they ever traveled at all. Cause and effect entwine, a circle rather than a line, a dance that has no beginning or end. You feel the disorientation of this concept, the vertigo of understanding a world where events can be both cause and consequence simultaneously. You take a slow breath and notice the patterns in your own life. Memories loop through thought, decisions ripple forward, and reflections on your past influence choices you make in the present. In subtle ways, even without time travel, your consciousness experiences miniature paradoxes, small loops where cause and effect fold into each other. You are, in essence, already familiar with the concept. The paradox gate does not promise solutions. It offers exploration, a space to consider what the universe would be like if time were flexible in ways that challenge your deepest intuitions. You imagine stepping through, meeting a friend before you ever knew them, reading a book before it was written, witnessing a sunset that has yet to occur. The mind stretches, and yet, a quiet logic insists, some threads cannot be unraveled without consequence. You sense the tension between theory and practice. Equations allow for loops, backward steps, and self-interaction. Physics, in the realm of mathematics, is less strict than reality as you experience it. Yet, nature enforces rules in its own quiet way. Entropy, causality, and consistency form invisible boundaries that guide even the most daring thought experiments. The gate is a reminder of both freedom and limitation. Step closer, and the shimmering light shifts. You feel the subtle hum of probabilities, the faint echo of worlds where paradoxes play out differently. Quantum mechanics whispers that at microscopic scales, events can exist in superposition, simultaneously occurring and not occurring, hinting at a universe where contradictions are not impossible, merely hidden. Yet the macroscopic world you inhabit maintains coherence. Cause and effect, past and future, hold their delicate balance. You pause to consider the emotional resonance of these ideas. Paradoxes challenge certainty. They invite humility. They teach that even with imagination and intellect, there are boundaries to what can be known and controlled. Yet in this uncertainty lies fascination, a sense of wonder that transcends fear. The paradox gate is a place of meditation, a reminder that mystery is part of the universe's rhythm. The gate also offers a reflection on time travel's practical implications. Were it possible to journey into the past, the universe would demand consistency, a form of cosmic proofreading. Any change that would erase a traveler's existence might be forbidden, or perhaps reality would branch, creating alternate timelines where each possibility unfolds independently. You sense the subtle elegance of these constraints, the careful weaving that prevents total chaos while allowing for exploration. Your heart beats in rhythm with the shimmering gate. You feel time's elasticity beneath your fingertips, yet also its firm insistence. You sense that the paradox is not a failure of physics, but a doorway to deeper understanding, a lesson in causality, continuity, and the fragile structure that holds reality together. You are invited to observe, to imagine, to meditate on what could be, without needing to act. You notice small details around you, the faint ripple of energy, the way shadows bend strangely, as if reflecting multiple possibilities at once. These are echoes of the paradoxes themselves, faint signatures of the universe's allowance for imagination. The gate is both a caution and an invitation, teaching that curiosity is powerful, yet the world resists impossible rewrites. Slowly, you step back and take another breath. The paradox gate shimmers softly, its light a reminder that time is more than sequence. It is a fabric of interlinked events, a network of causes and effects that form a coherent, yet flexible, whole. You sense that the future and the past are deeply intertwined, yet resistant to arbitrary change. And as you linger at the threshold, you feel the pull of possibility stretching ahead. Beyond this gate lies a bridge, a tunnel through spacetime, a wormhole that might connect distant points in the universe, both in space and in time. You sense that while paradoxes caution, wormholes invite, offering paths that defy ordinary expectation yet adhere to the laws of physics. The paradox gate hums softly in your awareness, leaving you suspended between curiosity and contemplation. You feel the thrill of questions without answers, the quiet awe of a universe that allows imagination to probe its edges. You are ready to move forward, guided by wonder, toward the next revelation, a bridge that might span unimaginable distances, connecting not only here and there, but perhaps then and now. Picture yourself drifting in a vast, dark ocean of stars. The cosmic sea stretches endlessly in all directions, glittering with the light of countless suns. Here, in this boundless expanse, you sense hidden currents, invisible pathways that could, in theory, connect distant points. These are wormholes, tunnels through spacetime, bridges between places that would otherwise take millennia to reach. Imagine taking a deep breath and floating toward one of these tunnels. Its entrance curves like a mouth opening in the fabric of the universe, a subtle ripple in space and time. You feel a pull, a quiet invitation to step inside, as though the universe itself is offering a shortcut across its vast distances. The tunnel is narrow, yet infinite, a passage that exists both here and elsewhere, now and potentially then. Einstein's equations allow such structures. General relativity suggests that spacetime can bend, twist, and fold, creating the possibility of a wormhole. You imagine bending a sheet of paper and punching a hole between 2 points, instant travel from one side to the other. The analogy feels both playful and profound. In theory, a traveler could emerge light years away, moments or eons later, without ever traversing the space in between. But the universe, in its subtle caution, places barriers. Wormholes require matter with exotic properties, negative energy that resists collapse. Ordinary matter would pinch the tunnel shut instantly. You sense the tension between possibility and practicality, the delicate balance between equations that invite and energy that forbids. Yet in thought, you can float through freely, exploring the contours of these bridges without fear. Step deeper into the tunnel, and the view changes. Light from distant stars bends along the curve, tracing arcs you cannot follow in ordinary space. Your perception stretches, and the familiar rules of motion soften. Here, distance and time fold in ways that are both thrilling and disorienting. The concept of here and there loses its sharpness, replaced by a continuous path that links points separated by vast cosmic expanses. You notice the intimate connection between wormholes and time. Some theoretical wormholes could function as time machines, connecting not just locations but moments. One entrance might exist in your present, the other in a distant past or future. The idea is dizzying, a bridge that allows journeys not only across space, but across eras. You feel both excitement and caution. The paradoxes you have glimpsed linger in your mind, whispering that even bridges must follow rules. Your thoughts drift to the practical challenges. A wormhole, if it existed, would be unstable. Energy would be needed to hold it open. Even slight disturbances could collapse the passage. The fabric of spacetime is delicate, responding to mass, motion, and gravity. You sense that these tunnels are not natural highways, but fragile constructions, ephemeral and beautiful, a reminder that the cosmos allows glimpses of possibility even when reality is strict. Yet, the allure of a wormhole is irresistible. You imagine leaping through one, emerging beside a distant star, a nebula, or a planet unseen by any human eye. The journey would be instantaneous, a meditation on the flexibility of space and time. You float along the curve, feeling the thrill of movement without distance, of connection without travel. The universe opens itself to your imagination, showing that shortcuts are conceivable, even if rarely achievable. Consider the perspective of a photon passing through a wormhole. It would traverse space effortlessly, yet still carry the message of past and future along its journey. Every particle, every wave, becomes part of the bridge, linking here and there, now and then. You feel a quiet intimacy with this vision, as if the universe is sharing a secret through the subtle bending of light and matter. Even if wormholes remain theoretical, their existence reshapes your perception of reality. Space is not fixed, it is pliable, responsive to forces, capable of creating paths that defy ordinary experience. You sense that the cosmos is full of hidden corridors, subtle connections that hint at underlying order, beauty, and unity. The very possibility of these bridges expands your awareness. You float along the cosmic sea, letting the imagination of wormholes carry you. You notice how every curve, every tunnel, is governed by the same fundamental principles you have explored: relativity, light, motion, and gravity. The universe is both orderly and astonishing, a playground for thought experiments that reveal the flexibility of space and the intimate connection between distance and time. You pause for a moment to breathe in the vastness. The tunnel seems to stretch infinitely in both directions, yet it is bounded by the laws of physics, reminding you of the delicate dance between imagination and reality. Every journey through the mind's eye teaches you more about the structure of existence, the possibilities that lie hidden within the fabric of space-time. And as you hover near the end of the tunnel, you feel the subtle pull of gravity's extreme forms. Black holes, the edges of time, regions where space-time curves infinitely. Ahead lies a threshold where wormholes touch the mysterious boundaries of the universe itself, places where time slows, bends, and perhaps folds in ways you have only glimpsed. The cosmic sea ripples softly around you, the light of distant stars reflecting off unseen currents. You sense that your exploration is far from over. Ahead, at the rim of a black hole, time itself will whisper in strange, stretched rhythms. You prepare to drift closer, feeling the pull of events yet to be understood, drawn by the gravity of mystery and the subtle pulse of space-time itself. Imagine drifting toward a star that has collapsed into itself, a point of infinite density where gravity is so intense that even light cannot escape. This is a black hole, a dark jewel in the cosmic sea, its presence felt not by sight alone but by the subtle tug on every particle around it. You approach cautiously, sensing both awe and trepidation. Time behaves strangely here. Near the black hole, every second stretches, dilates, almost as if the universe itself is pausing to observe. Far away, stars continue their graceful rotations, planets orbit predictably, and centuries pass in the blink of an eye. Yet for you, hovering near the event horizon, moments linger. Your heartbeat stretches, your thoughts slow, and the river of time flows with deliberate, almost meditative intent. You notice the light bending around the black hole, tracing arcs and loops as if hesitant to enter the abyss. Photons, trapped in circular paths, dance endlessly along the curvature of space-time. You realize that to observe a black hole is to witness time itself being sculpted by gravity, folded and stretched in ways that challenge intuition. The universe has its own rhythm here, one that differs from every place you have visited. Step closer, and the pull becomes palpable. Your body feels the tug of gravity, a silent force that bends every atom toward the singularity. Time for you stretches ever more. Each moment becomes a meditation, each breath a profound experience of duration. The flow of existence itself seems deliberate, measured, like a slow wave rolling endlessly against the cosmic shore. You imagine sending a message outward. Signals that leave your position climb gradually, redshifting, stretching their wavelengths, losing energy as gravity tugs at them. To distant observers, your signals seem to slow, to almost freeze in time. And yet, for you, perception remains normal. You are living, thinking, feeling in a temporal bubble of your own creation, suspended at the edge of eternity. Inside the black hole, physics reaches the limits of understanding. Space and time swap roles, distances and durations trade places, and singularity looms as a boundary of infinite curvature. You cannot predict what happens beyond this point, whether it is an end, a gateway, or a detour through dimensions you have yet to imagine. The familiar rules of motion and causality dissolve, leaving only the raw pulse of the universe. You sense the connection to the universe beyond. Matter falling into the black hole spirals inward, emitting energy, radiation, and gravitational waves that ripple across space-time. These ripples carry stories of destruction and transformation, echoes of stars devoured and reshaped. You feel a quiet intimacy with this process, as if you are witnessing the eternal recycling of energy and matter, the universe constantly renewing itself through collapse and rebirth. Consider the effect on time. An object falling into the black hole appears to slow and fade to a distant observer, frozen at the horizon. To the falling traveler, the journey is swift, unavoidable, and all-consuming. Time is subjective here, pliable, responsive to gravity's extreme hand. You feel that the edge of a black hole is a place where temporal perspective becomes intimate, a mirror reflecting the nature of reality itself. You imagine drifting closer, feeling the subtle distortions of light and space. Stars behind you curve into rings, photons loop around the singularity, and the fabric of the cosmos seems suspended. Here, at this boundary, the arrow of time is stretched, almost still, yet it continues. Entropy progresses, yet at a pace that feels like eternity. You are caught in a delicate balance, observing the extremes of the universe while remaining anchored in your own existence. Even the notion of causality softens. Near the horizon, sequences of events blur. What was first, what was last, becomes less clear. Time becomes a flexible partner, responding to gravity's will, showing that the universe's flow is not uniform, but intimately sculpted by matter and energy. You sense that the cosmos has layers of experience, some accessible, some hidden, all connected through the language of spacetime. And yet, the black hole is not only a place of fear. It is a place of reflection, meditation, and insight. You feel the pull not just physically, but mentally, toward understanding the profound depths of existence. Each stretch of time, each bend of light, offers a lesson. Impermanence is universal, and transformation is constant. Even in collapse, there is a rhythm, a continuity that resonates through the cosmic fabric. You imagine the possibilities beyond the singularity. Could time fold back upon itself? Could new regions of spacetime emerge, allowing paths through epochs unknown? These are questions without answers, yet their contemplation deepens your awareness. The black hole becomes a teacher, showing that even in the extreme, the universe has structure, and even in the mysterious, there is meaning. As you hover at the edge, suspended between certainty and mystery, you feel your own perception of time stretched, slowed, expanded. Each thought is a meditation, each heartbeat a drumbeat in the cosmic rhythm. You realize that gravity does not simply pull matter, it shapes experience, bends perception, and molds the flow of life itself. And as you prepare to drift onward, leaving the edge of the black hole behind, you sense that the universe has more secrets waiting. If gravity stretches time to near stillness, quantum mechanics dances on the smallest scales, hinting at rhythms and pulses that may reveal the very granularity of existence itself. Imagine yourself becoming smaller, drifting down past planets, stars, and molecules, until the familiar solidity of matter dissolves. You enter a world where particles shimmer in and out of existence, where certainty is replaced by possibility, and where time itself behaves in a way that feels both alien and intimately familiar. This is the realm of the quantum clock. At this scale, reality is not smooth or continuous. Events do not unfold like an unbroken ribbon. Instead, they appear as tiny pulses, discrete ticks of a clock that is woven into the fabric of matter itself. You sense that what you call time in ordinary life, flowing, steady, predictable, may here exist only as an approximation, a gentle illusion born of vast numbers of quantum events. You watch a particle, an electron perhaps, vibrating in its probabilistic haze. Its position is not fixed, its motion not deterministic. Each observation, each interaction, collapses possibilities into a single outcome, like choosing a single step in an intricate dance. Time seems to flicker alongside it, a rhythm born of choices and interactions rather than a universal march. Even the very idea of cause and effect softens. A particle may appear to respond to something that has not yet occurred, or seem to know the influence of distant counterparts in a phenomenon known as entanglement. You feel the subtle disorientation of these observations, yet you also sense a quiet harmony. The universe has rules, even when they defy ordinary intuition. You imagine a tiny clock, composed of a single quantum system. Its hands do not sweep smoothly but jump in discrete intervals. These quantum ticks may be unimaginably brief, yet they are the foundation upon which larger, more familiar time emerges. The rhythm of the cosmos is encoded here, in the dance of particles and probabilities, tiny pulses creating the melody of reality. At this scale, energy and time are deeply linked. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle reveals that precise knowledge of one affects certainty in the other. You feel a gentle tension, like a soft stretch in a fabric that refuses to lie perfectly flat. Each moment is a balance, a negotiation between what is observed and what remains hidden, between potential and manifestation. You notice that quantum clocks are everywhere, yet invisible to the naked eye. The vibrations of atoms, the oscillations of particles, the cycles of energy exchange, all contribute to the subtle, imperceptible cadence of the universe. Your own body, composed of trillions of such clocks, marches in a harmony dictated by the tiniest pulses of reality. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thought, all are part of a grander, microscopic rhythm. You contemplate the nature of time itself. Could it truly be continuous, or is it an emergent phenomenon, arising from countless quantum interactions? The familiar flow of seconds may be a gentle approximation of a deeper, granular cadence, one that only the universe at its smallest scale can truly feel. You sense the intimacy of this realization. Every moment you experience is built upon infinite, flickering foundations. You explore the strange connection between time and probability. A particle does not follow a single path but a spectrum of possibilities, each weighted by likelihood. Reality is the selection of one path from many, the quantum clock marking the heartbeat of a universe that balances uncertainty with consistency. You begin to see that the rhythm of existence is both fragile and robust, intricate yet predictable on the grand scale. Even light, your constant companion, participates in this dance. Photons, as quantum entities, follow probabilistic trajectories. Time for them is not linear but intertwined with the oscillations and interactions that define their existence. You feel the intimacy of being connected to these pulses, realizing that your experience of the universe is built upon the subtle synchronization of countless quantum clocks ticking together. You reflect on measurement and observation. Each time you observe, you collapse possibilities into reality. In a sense, consciousness itself becomes a participant in the quantum rhythm, shaping which potentialities crystallize into the flow of events you call now. Time is participatory, not merely observed, a subtle dialogue between being and becoming. You imagine standing at the threshold between the quantum and macroscopic worlds. Here, individual ticks are imperceptible, yet collectively they create smooth, continuous motion. The vast flow of seconds, minutes, and hours emerges from these infinitesimal rhythms. You sense that time, as you usually know it, is an elegant emergent pattern, a symphony built upon countless quantum pulses. And as you drift through this microscopic landscape, you sense the profound mystery that lies ahead. Quantum mechanics hints that at the smallest scales, time is flexible, uncertain. Imagine two particles, born together in a singular event, their fates entwined in a way that defies ordinary intuition. No matter how far apart they drift, one carried to a distant star, the other remaining close by, a change in one instantaneously affects the other. You feel the subtle thrill of this impossibility, a bond that transcends space, and perhaps even time. This is quantum entanglement, a connection that whispers of the universe's hidden coherence. As you focus on these entangled particles, you sense that their bond is not merely physical. It is a reflection of the deep architecture of reality, where separation is relative and connection is fundamental. A particle here resonates with a particle elsewhere, as though the cosmos itself communicates across vast expanses with silent, precise language. Distance, which once seemed inviolable, becomes pliable, almost inconsequential. You ponder the implications for time. Could moments, like particles, be entangled? Could your present self, your current thoughts, be subtly linked to a future you have not yet experienced? In this delicate contemplation, Cause and effect feel less linear, more like partners in a slow, cosmic dance. Entanglement hints that the universe holds threads connecting past, present, and future in ways your mind can glimpse but not fully grasp. You visualize the dance. One particle is nudged gently, and the other responds instantly. To an observer, it is as if information travels faster than light, a mysterious dialogue that does not violate relativity, yet challenges your intuition. You notice how this instantaneous connection, this invisible bond, suggests that the universe may be stitched together by relationships, not merely by isolated events. Even everyday life begins to feel subtly entangled. You recall a conversation that changed your thoughts hours later, a memory that shapes a decision before you consciously act. Though these are not literal quantum effects, they echo the principle. Connections can span distance and time in ways that are felt more than measured. The universe may operate with a hidden, delicate web of influence that links all things, silently, persistently. You drift further into reflection, considering the experiments that reveal entanglement. Photons sent through long tunnels, electrons separated by kilometers, yet still responding in perfect harmony. Each observation collapses possibilities into reality, a process both deterministic and probabilistic. The cosmos, you sense, is a network of correlations, a lattice of subtle dependencies that defy simple description. You imagine what it would be like to travel with entangled particles. If one particle experiences time in one rhythm and its twin another, perhaps the universe preserves harmony in ways that span both space and temporal scales. You feel the elegance of this symmetry, the deep order that emerges from seeming chaos. Entanglement is a testament to the universe's subtlety, a gentle reminder that reality is richer than your senses alone can detect. The connection between particles suggests that observation itself carries weight. Your awareness of one particle seems to influence its entangled partner. You consider that consciousness may not be separate from the universe, but a participant in its network, a thread in the vast web of cause and effect. Even time itself becomes participatory, a dance that is co-created by events, relationships, and perception. You notice that entanglement is fragile yet persistent. Disturbance can destroy the bond, but until then, the connection endures, unbroken by distance, unshaken by the ordinary passage of time. You feel a quiet awe, realizing that the universe contains pockets of perfect correspondence, a whisper of unity underlying the apparent separation of objects and moments. As you meditate on these invisible threads, you imagine reality as a vast tapestry. Each entangled particle is a knot, each quantum correlation a stitch, weaving a coherent pattern that stretches across the cosmos. The past, present, and future may be threads in this fabric, connected not linearly but relationally, in patterns too subtle to perceive directly. Even your own existence seems to resonate with this idea. Moments in your life feel connected to moments far away, decisions echoing, emotions resonating, experiences folding into each other. You sense that the universe is not merely a collection of independent events but a living, intertwined network, where connection defines reality more than separation. And as you float among these entangled threads, you begin to see time in a new way. It is not a line you travel along but a web you inhabit. Moments influence each other across distances, and perhaps across eras, revealing that the fabric of reality is woven with connections that silently shape the flow of existence. You rest in this awareness, letting the delicate threads of entanglement settle in your mind. The universe is vast, yet intimate, mysterious, yet deeply coherent. And just beyond the reach of particles, beyond the smallest scales of interaction, the cosmos remembers, in the faint echoes of light, the fossil record of stars, the memory of creation itself, waiting for you to trace it. Imagine drifting backward through the cosmos, past the glittering galaxies and the glowing nebulae, toward a time before life, before Earth, before even stars. You enter a space where memory is not written in words, but in light, in matter, in the very structure of the universe. Every particle carries the story of its past, a trace of where it has been, whispering to the present through subtle signals. You notice the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, a relic radiation stretching across the vast expanse of space. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet persistent. This cosmic microwave background is a memory of creation itself, a record of the universe's earliest moments. You sense that by observing it, you are reading an ancient diary, each photon a sentence, each wavelength a story of birth and expansion. Stars leave their marks, too. Long after a star dies, the light it emitted continues to travel, carrying the memory of fusion, of energy released into the void. You see how massive explosions, supernovae, scatter atoms across space, seeding new systems with the ingredients for planets, for life. The universe remembers through creation and destruction, each event inscribed into the web of existence. Even black holes contribute to this cosmic memory. Their immense gravity warps spacetime, preserving information in subtle ways, encoding the past of everything they've absorbed. You feel that the universe, though ever-changing, never forgets completely. Memory is woven into the fabric of reality, a delicate balance of preservation and transformation, of permanence and impermanence. At the scale of atoms, memory exists in structure. Crystals hold information in their geometric arrangement. Ice preserves air bubbles like tiny capsules of history, and molecules retain the traces of interactions, collisions, and energy exchanges. Every particle has a story, and collectively, these stories create the universe's record, a ledger written across space and time. You sense that memory is everywhere, in the drift of galaxies, the spin of electrons, the vibrations of molecules. It is not conscious, yet it is intimate, accessible to those who know how to observe. Light carries information from distant epochs. Cosmic rays encode ancient events. Gravitational waves whisper of massive mergers billions of years ago. By reading these signs, you become an archaeologist of the cosmos, tracing history through physics. The universe's memory is not static. It evolves with time, with every interaction, every collision, every emission of light. Past, present, and future exist as a continuum, each moment leaving subtle traces that influence what comes next. You realize that time's flow is layered, with memory embedded in its very structure, shaping the unfolding of events even as it records what has been. You drift past galaxies, noticing patterns in their formation, spirals and clusters that reveal the past conditions of matter and energy. Each shape is a signature of forces, of interactions that occurred long before your journey began. You feel connected to these events, as though observing them is a way of touching the universe's memory, of understanding that you are part of a vast continuum that has always been, and will always be, recording itself. Photons carry messages across eons. The light you see from distant stars is ancient, a memory traveling to meet your gaze. Each photon tells you where it came from, what it passed through, and how the universe has stretched and curved along its path. In these tiny messengers, you perceive time's record, an unbroken chain linking creation to observation, past to present. You notice that human beings also participate in this memory, through observation, writing, and technology. Telescopes capture light that began its journey millions or billions of years ago. Sensors record gravitational waves that ripple across space-time. Computers store vast quantities of data about the cosmos. You are both observer and participant, a reader and preserver of the universe's story. Even in silence, memory exists. Empty space is not empty. It holds the gravitational traces of past events, the remnants of radiation, the faint echoes of distant activity. You feel that the cosmos is alive with subtle recollections, waiting for attentive minds to perceive its story. By moving gently, observing with patience, you become attuned to its rhythm, aware of the depth and continuity of its record. You float in this awareness, realizing that memory is not just about preservation, it is about connection. The past informs the present, the traces of what has been influence what will become. The universe is both witness and storyteller, chronicling every event in ways that are tangible, measurable, and beautiful. And as you drift through this cosmic archive, you sense the potential for reversibility, for imagining worlds where time could flow differently, where order and chaos might play alternate roles. The universe's memory hints at possibilities yet unexplored, a meditation on balance, impermanence, and the elegance of cosmic storytelling. Close your eyes and imagine a world where every moment could be retraced, every event unwound like a spool of thread. Milk could leap back into its container, footprints vanish from the sand, and the glow of dying stars could reignite, returning to the furnace of creation. It is a vision both comforting and unsettling, a dream of reversibility where the past might once again become the present. In this imagined world, you float along the reverse flow of time. Every action retraces its steps, and cause follows effect like a mirrored dance. A leaf falls from a tree, then lifts gently back to its branch. A river retraces its course, returning droplets to their source. The rhythm is serene, almost meditative, and yet it hints at the impossibility that underlies ordinary life. You sense that the world is built to move forward, that the arrow of time is deeply woven into the fabric of existence. Physics offers tantalizing possibilities. Equations allow reversibility. The microscopic laws governing particles often do not distinguish forward from backward. A billiard ball's motion on a frictionless table could, in principle, retrace its path exactly. Yet, in practice, entropy, the measure of disorder, insists that such perfect reversals are fleeting or impossible on large scales. You feel the tension between theory and reality, a gentle reminder of the universe's balance. Chaos and order dance together. In the forward flow of time, systems naturally progress toward disorder. Eggs break, stars burn, moments fade. But this movement, though irreversible, is not cruel. It is the mechanism through which meaning arises. You sense that beauty exists because of impermanence, that significance is amplified by the fact that moments cannot simply be undone. Reversibility, while alluring, would erase the depth that temporality imparts. You drift through imagined events, a wave returning to the shore, erasing footprints and shells, a fallen tree lifting from the earth, roots reclaiming soil, a candle flame shrinking back into wax. The imagery is poetic, serene, yet paradoxical. You sense that time's forward march, with its gentle constraints, is what allows life, memory, and experience to matter. To reverse it entirely would be to enter a world of quiet perfection, but one stripped of narrative, growth, and story. You notice subtle echoes of reversibility in your own mind. Memories can be revisited, replayed, reshaped through reflection, imagination, and storytelling. In a way, your thoughts move backward, touching moments past, re-experiencing them with fresh awareness. Yet this mental rewinding is gentle and selective, bounded by the flow of life, unlike the absolute reversals of physics. You sense that consciousness itself is a small, personal bridge across time. You contemplate the reversibility of entropy. At microscopic scales, particles might retrace paths, collisions could unfold in reverse. But the universe, in aggregate, resists perfect symmetry. The arrow of time remains steadfast, and you feel the subtle poignancy of this truth. Life gains meaning precisely because moments are fleeting, and experience is irretrievable. Every heartbeat, every breath, is unique and unrepeatable. Stars, too, illustrate this balance. Nuclear reactions cannot be undone. Hydrogen becomes helium, energy radiates outward, and planets orbit in response to this forward-moving rhythm. The forward flow creates structures, galaxies, and the very possibility of life. In imagining reversibility, you recognize that impermanence is a kind of gift, a necessary condition for the universe to evolve, for complexity and consciousness to arise. Yet dreaming of reversibility is not futile. It teaches contemplation, empathy, and appreciation. You sense the fragility of each moment, the preciousness of choice and consequence. You understand that though you cannot undo the past, you can acknowledge it, learn from it, and allow its memory to shape what comes next. In this meditation, you find serenity, acceptance, and clarity. Time, as you drift through this vision, is both a constraint and a guide. It shapes experience while preserving continuity, reminding you that each event, no matter how small, contributes to the story of existence. The dream of reversibility is a gentle exploration of possibility, a way to touch the past and contemplate what could have been, without disturbing the forward flow that gives life its depth. You float among these reflections, sensing the delicate tension between what is possible in thought and what is inevitable in reality. The universe is neither cruel nor arbitrary. It is simply consistent, a tapestry woven from moments that cannot fully unravel. And in this understanding, you find a quiet comfort, an intimacy with the passage of time itself. As your awareness drifts toward the edges of this meditation, you glimpse the interplay of motion, gravity, and speed, the very principles that govern life at relativistic extremes. Ahead, the story of twins traveling near light speed beckons, a gentle illustration of time's elasticity and the personal rhythm each being carries through the universe. Imagine two siblings, identical in every way, standing side by side. One remains on Earth, rooted to familiar rhythms of day and night. The other boards a spacecraft, poised to travel near the speed of light, to explore distant stars and galaxies. At first, the difference seems subtle, just a choice of paths. Yet, as they begin their journeys, the very nature of time begins to reveal its remarkable flexibility. You watch as the traveler's ship accelerates, approaching the cosmic speed limit. Within the vessel, moments feel normal, a heartbeat, a blink, a thought, all flow as they always have. Outside, however, the universe seems to rush past. Years that seem fleeting inside the ship stretch into decades for those who remain on Earth. You sense the gentle stretching of time, a rhythm that is personal, intimate, and inexorably tied to motion. This is the essence of the twin paradox. It is not a contradiction, but a meditation on relativity. Time is not uniform, it is flexible, responsive to the paths taken through space. Your perception of duration is intimately bound to velocity, to the gravitational influences you encounter, to the very stage on which you move. The universe is a storyteller with multiple perspectives, each valid within its frame of reference. You imagine the twin on Earth, observing the stars, feeling the gentle passing of days. Decades unfold in what seems like a normal lifetime. Meanwhile, the traveling twin, moving at relativistic speeds, experiences only a fraction of that time. A single journey can compress years into months, transforming the flow of existence in a way that feels almost magical, yet is rigorously predictable. You notice the paradox is subtle, not in its mechanics but in its implications. Time is not an absolute river, flowing identically for all observers. It is a malleable current, shaped by speed, gravity, and perspective. Each twin experiences reality fully, yet their clocks, hearts, and memories diverge, illustrating the profound relativity embedded in the cosmos. Consider the reunion. One twin returns, stepping onto Earth after a journey through stars. They are younger, their body and mind preserved in a state the other cannot imagine. The earthbound twin has aged decades, memories accumulated, wrinkles marking the passage of time. You sense both wonder and a quiet melancholy. The universe allows these differences, yet the connection between them endures, a reminder that experience is both shared and singular. You ponder the implications for life and perception. Time is not a single, universal metric, but a personal experience. Your moments are yours alone, shaped by motion, gravity, and circumstance. Yet all these flows coexist, creating a cosmos that is coherent despite its flexibility. The paradox is a gentle teacher, showing that reality accommodates multiple rhythms without contradiction. You float alongside the twins, feeling the elasticity of their existence. You sense the interplay of relativity. Clocks tick differently, lengths contract, simultaneity shifts. Yet each perspective is internally consistent, each moment fully real. You begin to see that the universe is less a rigid clockwork and more a tapestry of interwoven experiences, where each thread carries its own temporal cadence. Even your own perception of time begins to shift. You notice how movement, focus, and attention influence your sense of duration. Seconds can stretch when the mind is absorbed, shrink when it is distracted. In this meditation, relativity becomes more than equations. It is an intimate reflection of consciousness, a reminder that time is lived, not merely measured. You consider the deeper philosophical resonance. Time, you realize, is a story told differently to each observer, yet consistent in its internal logic. The twin paradox is not a puzzle to solve, but an invitation to contemplate the universe's generosity. It allows multiple truths to coexist, each complete and harmonious within its own frame. You feel the quiet wonder of this revelation. Time is flexible, relational, intimate. It is a companion to experience, bending without breaking, stretching without tearing. The twins' journey is a metaphor, a gentle illustration that the universe is not a single perspective, but a collection of lived moments, each uniquely shaped by movement, gravity, and choice. And as you drift from this meditation, you sense that time is also shaped by the mind itself. Memory, anticipation, and consciousness create their own currents, echoing the relativity of physical motion. Ahead, you will explore the human mind as its own temporal landscape, where seconds are stories, and perception shapes the flow of your inner world. Close your eyes and drift inward, past planets, stars, and quantum pulses, into the vast landscape of your own mind. Here, time behaves differently. It is not measured by clocks or calendars, but by perception, memory, and imagination. Seconds stretch or compress depending on attention, emotion, and thought, creating a personal rhythm that feels intimate and uniquely yours. You notice that memory shapes your sense of past. A single recollection can transport you to moments decades ago, allowing you to revisit places, faces, and feelings. Your brain stores these experiences in intricate patterns of neurons and synapses, a living archive that preserves the texture of every moment. Time, in this sense, is fluid, a river whose banks are drawn by thought itself. Imagination, too, bends the flow. When you envision a future event, your mind creates a simulation, a rehearsal of possibilities. Your consciousness travels forward along these imagined timelines, predicting outcomes, weighing choices, and feeling emotions yet to be experienced. In this mental space, you are already practicing forms of temporal exploration, glimpsing potential futures with the subtle skill of attention. You notice the elasticity of perception. A joyful moment can feel endless, each second rich and resonant, while a period of waiting may stretch into infinity. Time is not a rigid measure here. It is a lived experience, co-created by awareness and attention. Your mind bends it gently, a reminder that chronology is only one way to understand its flow. Biologically, your brain synchronizes with external rhythms, circadian cycles, heartbeat, breathing, creating a sense of temporal coherence. Yet internally, moments ripple and overlap, memories layering upon each other, dreams mingling with waking thoughts. You feel that consciousness itself is a kind of time machine, moving freely across scales of hours, years, and even imagined centuries. You contemplate the role of narrative. Stories, whether told aloud or silently in thought, shape perception of duration. When engaged in a tale, seconds become minutes, minutes become hours, yet the mind remains fully present. This is another form of temporal bending. The subjective experience of time can differ radically from objective measures, a testament to the intimate power of consciousness. Emotions, too, leave their imprint on perception. Fear can slow time, excitement can accelerate it, and reflection can make distant events feel near. Your inner world creates a personal clock, responding to sensation, attention, and memory. Time, here, is not a single, universal river, but a tapestry woven from countless subjective currents. You imagine revisiting a memory of childhood. Each detail is vivid: the smell of rain, the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of friends. In this act of recollection, you are traveling backward, inhabiting moments long past. Though your body remains rooted in the present, your mind experiences temporal movement as if it were a gentle form of time travel, a journey through your own history. Likewise, when you anticipate future events, your imagination projects forward, exploring possibilities yet to unfold. These projections are speculative, playful, and instructive, allowing you to rehearse decisions and outcomes. You feel the subtle thrill of forward motion, a soft extension of the self into times not yet lived, illustrating that your mind contains both past and future simultaneously. Even perception of the present is layered. Awareness splits attention across multiple moments, observing now while recalling then, while anticipating next. Consciousness is an intricate orchestration, threading together past experience, present sensation, and future expectation. You sense that this is a kind of internal relativity, where time flows differently for different aspects of your mind. You reflect on the intimacy of this temporal experience. Time travel need not require a machine, a black hole, or a quantum fluctuation. Within your own consciousness, you can revisit, anticipate, and reshape the flow of moments. Memory, attention, and imagination become instruments of movement through your personal timelines, a subtle, private, and profoundly human form of temporal navigation. As you drift further, you sense the connection to the broader cosmos. The same laws that stretch time for traveling twins or bend it near massive stars also resonate within your neurons. Your internal rhythms, your pulses and thoughts, are tiny echoes of the universal dance, mirroring the grand flow of existence. Awareness itself is a bridge across scales, linking mind and cosmos through shared temporal patterns. You rest in this realization. Your mind carries its own arrow of time, distinct yet harmonious with the universe. Moments are both fleeting and eternal, structured by memory and anticipation, yet experienced uniquely in each heartbeat. In this gentle exploration, you sense that you are already traveling through time every day, softly, subtly, through the rhythm of consciousness itself. And as your awareness prepares to drift outward again, toward the body and the physical universe, you feel the arrow of time within your cells, your DNA, and your living organism. Biological rhythms, entropy, and life's natural progression await, connecting mind and matter in a seamless meditation on existence itself. Drift inward once more, this time into the living machinery of your body. Here, time is tangible, intimate, and personal. Each cell carries its own history, each heartbeat a marker of continuity. You feel the subtle progression of life, the quiet march of aging, and the delicate ways your biology records every moment that has passed. Inside your cells, molecules interact with graceful precision. DNA unwinds and rewinds, copying itself during division, preserving a record of ancestry and experience. Each strand carries information accumulated over generations, a ledger of survival written in chemical code. You sense that time is encoded not only in the universe at large but within you, a microscopic archive of existence. Entropy whispers here too, but in biological terms. Proteins fold, misfold, and refold. Molecules degrade and renew. Tissues change slowly over decades. The arrow of time is visible in your own physical form, in the way skin softens, hair grays, and energy cycles through metabolism. You feel that this progression is not a loss, but a rhythm, a narrative of life unfolding. You notice your heartbeat as a subtle clock. Each pulse is a gentle reminder of continuity, a measure of moments passing. Breathing, digestion, thought, every process is a testament to the flow of time within the organism. Your body is both chronometer and landscape, marking the hours and years while supporting the mind that contemplates them. Memory, too, is biological. Synapses strengthen or weaken with use, encoding experiences into lasting patterns. Your past is layered in neurons, a tapestry of perception, learning, and emotion. You feel that consciousness is intertwined with biology. The arrow of time flows not only in the universe, but in the rhythms of your own being. You reflect on aging not as decay but as accumulation, the careful layering of experience, knowledge, and resilience. Each moment lived alters your physiology, leaving traces in muscles, skin, and the chemical balance of your cells. You perceive that life is a delicate balance between change and continuity, impermanence and persistence, each heartbeat marking both the passage and the presence of time. You imagine the body as a landscape of temporal markers. Cells divide and die, wounds heal and scars remain, hormones rise and fall in daily and seasonal cycles. Each process is part of a coordinated rhythm, a living clockwork that measures and responds to the environment. Time is tangible here, experienced as sensation, change, and growth. Even at the molecular level, entropy cannot be ignored. Reactions proceed forward, energy dissipates, and the universe's second law manifests in the soft decay and renewal of life. Yet this biological arrow is not cruel. It is the medium through which growth, adaptation, and vitality emerge. Life is the interplay between order and disorder, structure and flow, permanence and transformation. You notice that the arrow within aligns with your perception, but does not dictate it. Moments of joy, excitement, or absorption can stretch subjective time, while pain or monotony compress it. Your mind and body, working in tandem, create a personalized experience of the passage of hours and years, a living demonstration of time's relativity at the scale of life itself. You sense the continuity of existence in the rhythms of respiration and circulation. Each heartbeat echoes the past, sustains the present, and anticipates the future. In this intimate connection, you feel the universality of temporal flow. The same principles that govern stars, photons, and particles resonate quietly within your body, linking the cosmos to the microcosm. As you rest in this awareness, you recognize that biology, memory, and entropy together create a personal arrow of time. Life itself measures progression, recording the story of being in molecules, cells, and consciousness. Your existence is a bridge between the forward march of the universe and the intimate rhythm of lived experience. And as your reflection drifts outward, toward the loops and feedbacks that link events across space and time, you sense that life is part of a larger dance, one where causality, connection, and continuity intertwine, hinting at cycles, repetitions, and patterns yet to explore. Imagine a world where the line between cause and effect blurs, folding back on itself like a river that returns to its source. You step gently into this landscape of loops and feedbacks, where events are not strictly linear, but cyclical, echoing and influencing each other in subtle, intricate ways. Time here is not a straight arrow, but a flexible curve, looping and bending, reflecting the complexity of the cosmos. In this realm, a single action can ripple forward, then fold back, influencing the very event that triggered it. You feel the paradoxical elegance of self-created sequences. A particle moves, its motion alters conditions that, in turn, shape the original motion. There is a symmetry here, a delicate balance, as though the universe itself engages in careful bookkeeping, ensuring that loops coexist without chaos. You visualize the loops in nature. Planets orbit stars in repeating cycles, seasons recur, tides rise and fall, and ecological systems self-regulate in patterns that echo the past. Even human history has its loops, ideas resurfacing, generations encountering similar challenges, patterns of behavior recurring in subtle variations. These are gentle, observable loops, small-scale reflections of the universe's potential for self-referential dynamics. At the quantum level, loops are more mysterious. Certain theoretical models allow for closed time-like curves, paths where events can, in principle, influence their own causes. You imagine photons tracing circuits through spacetime, interacting with past versions of themselves, creating self-consistent histories that satisfy the laws of physics. It is a delicate dance, where logic and possibility intertwine, suggesting that the universe can accommodate loops without contradiction. You sense the fragility of this balance. Loops must be self-consistent. Contradictions unravel. The classic grandfather paradox emerges in thought. What if a traveler prevents their own existence? The universe seems to prevent such inconsistencies, perhaps requiring that any causal loop resolve harmoniously. You feel the subtle intelligence of the cosmos, not conscious, but self-regulating, preserving coherence while allowing complexity. In your mind, you explore smaller loops in daily life. Choices lead to outcomes, which influence future choices, which then loop back in unexpected ways. You notice patterns repeating in your own behavior, echoes of past decisions shaping the present. Time, in these intimate loops, is not an abstract line but a living, breathing network of interconnections, where past and future converse in silent dialogue. You drift to the idea of feedback loops in science. Ecosystems stabilize through cycles, climate systems adjust via interdependent mechanisms, and even neurons interact in loops that support thought and memory. Each loop maintains a dynamic balance, creating stability within motion. You realize that causality is not always linear. It is relational, networked, and resilient, capable of supporting repetition without collapse. The loops are not only physical but conceptual. Ideas can travel forward in time and influence past reasoning, shaping the evolution of thought and culture. You feel that understanding causality requires seeing beyond simple sequences, recognizing the recursive nature of systems where effect can nurture cause in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. You imagine standing at the center of a vast looped network. Events branch, circle, and reconnect in intricate webs. You feel the elegance of circular causation, the quiet symmetry of moments affecting themselves through time. This is a meditation on coherence, resilience, and interdependence, where every action is both consequence and antecedent, where beginnings and endings blur in gentle continuity. You notice a subtle reflection in consciousness itself. Thoughts feed on previous thoughts, shaping the very mind that generates them. Memory, expectation, and perception form recursive loops that define personal identity. You sense that cognition is a living example of causality's circularity, a microcosm of the broader universe's patterns. As you drift through these reflections, you feel that loops offer insight into possibility. Perhaps time travel does not need to break the universe's consistency, but simply to navigate the delicate corridors of self-consistent loops. Cause and effect need not be strictly sequential. They can form harmonious cycles, opening doors to understanding without contradiction. And as your awareness begins to stretch outward, beyond loops and cycles, you glimpse the potential of multiple realities. Each loop might branch into countless alternate histories, parallel universes where different choices unfold. The universe hums with infinite variations, and you sense that these possibilities await your quiet contemplation in the vast cosmic ocean of time. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast cosmic ocean, where every ripple represents a choice, a moment, a possibility. As you gaze across this infinite expanse, you realize that each decision, each event, may create a branching path, a new universe, a parallel timeline, humming with its own reality. The multiverse is not a distant abstraction. It is a gentle reflection of the infinite ways existence might unfold. You sense that the universe you inhabit is only one of countless possibilities. In another, a different choice was made, a different path traveled, a different star ignited. Somewhere else, an alternate you is reading these words, contemplating the same mysteries, yet experiencing them in a subtly different reality. The thought is both comforting and disorienting. Every action, every moment, could create a new thread in the cosmic tapestry. These branches are not necessarily visible or interactive. You drift along them as if they were quiet rivers, separate yet adjacent, flowing parallel yet never touching. Each universe has its own arrow of time, its own rhythm, its own story. You feel the gentle multiplicity of reality, the soft whisper that no single timeline exhausts possibility. Existence is abundant, unbounded, and poetic in its infinitude. You notice how the concept of the multiverse reframes time travel. Perhaps altering the past does not change the timeline you left behind. It creates or steps into a new one. You imagine gently moving between branches, observing how a single choice can transform landscapes, civilizations, or even the stars themselves. Each version of reality exists, waiting for awareness to encounter it, a quiet testament to the creativity inherent in the cosmos. Quantum mechanics provides a delicate foundation for this vision. Particles behave probabilistically, existing in superpositions, exploring multiple states simultaneously. Observation collapses possibilities into a single outcome, but the multiverse theory suggests that all outcomes may continue to exist, each in its own branching world. You feel a sense of calm certainty. The universe is generous, allowing infinite variations to flourish quietly alongside each other. You float past infinite versions of Earth, imagining subtle differences. A river flows slightly differently here, a mountain peak rises higher there, a star shines with a different hue. Civilizations might flourish in one branch, while silence prevails in another. Even the smallest decision, a word spoken, a gesture made, sends ripples through countless realities. Each universe is complete, coherent, and self-contained, a delicate note in a symphony of possibilities. You reflect on the implications for identity. Multiple yous exist simultaneously, each experiencing life in unique ways. One may travel through stars, another remain rooted on Earth, another explore thoughts and memories in ways that are deeply personal. The notion is not frightening, but meditative. Every version of you is real, every choice meaningful, every existence valid within its branch. Time in the multiverse is not singular. Each reality may progress at its own pace, shaped by local conditions, physical laws, and initial circumstances. You sense that the flow of moments is flexible, yet internally consistent in each universe. Past, present, and future coexist in ways that are unimaginable in a single timeline, yet they harmonize as part of a vast, interconnected web. You drift through these reflections, aware that causality may intertwine differently in each branch. Loops, feedbacks, and paradoxes resolve uniquely in their own realities, preserving consistency while allowing infinite variation. You feel the universe as both a playground of possibility and a meditation on order, a balance between freedom and structure. As you move among these infinite worlds, you sense that observation itself is a form of gentle navigation. Awareness touches one branch at a time, yet can imagine or intuit the existence of countless others. Your mind, with its capacity for reflection, empathy, and imagination, becomes a bridge across realities, capable of traversing the quiet currents of possibility without leaving the stillness of your consciousness. And as your attention begins to return to the familiar cosmos, to stars and planets, to gravity and motion, you feel the soft resonance of multiple timelines converging. Each universe pulses with its own heartbeat, yet all are part of a greater pattern, a harmony of existence that stretches outward, inviting wonder and reflection. Close your eyes and let the sensation of linear time dissolve. Imagine a vast, silent expanse where all moments exist simultaneously. Every heartbeat you have ever had, every choice you have made, every event yet to unfold. Here, the familiar notions of before and after fade, replaced by a continuum in which past, present, and future coexist like notes in a single, eternal chord. You feel the block universe surrounding you, a concept that shifts the foundation of your perception. Time is no longer a flowing river or an arrow marching forward. It is a landscape, a three-dimensional structure of events, all existing in perfect coherence. Your memory traces and your anticipation of the future are threads within this tapestry, connecting moments that are equally real, equally present. Every decision, every action, is embedded within this block. You sense that your life is fully contained, yet not fixed in the way that implies limitation. Awareness itself moves along paths within the block, exploring sequences, perceiving motion, and observing patterns. The illusion of flow is not lost, but gently reframed. You are both a participant and a witness to the continuum of time. You notice how this perspective changes the concept of cause and effect. Before and after become relative, dependent on your frame of reference. Events are still linked logically, yet their order is not absolute across all perspectives. You sense that time travel, in this view, may not involve changing events, but shifting your consciousness to experience different slices of the block, exploring what already exists from a new angle. The block universe stretches infinitely, embracing entire histories and futures. You see the rise and fall of stars, the dance of galaxies, the unfolding of civilizations, all existing together in one cosmic tableau. Time, as you once understood it, becomes a measure of perspective rather than a property of reality itself. Moments are like stones embedded in a riverbed, solid, unchanging, yet forming channels through which your awareness can flow. You reflect on the feeling of inevitability this creates. Events are already part of the block, yet this does not imply fatalism. Rather, it offers a serene understanding. All moments are contained, all choices are meaningful within the structure. You are free to experience, to reflect, to act, while also appreciating that your perception of progression is a gentle, subjective unfolding within a timeless whole. Even human consciousness, you realize, moves along paths in this block, creating the sensation of flow. Memory recalls past positions within the structure, while imagination anticipates future pathways. The mind stitches together experiences, giving rise to the sense of change, of before and after, even when all moments coexist. Time, in this sense, is as much a product of awareness as it is of physics. You notice subtle echoes of relativity here. Observers in motion experience events differently, perceiving sequences and durations unique to their frame. The block universe accommodates these perspectives, allowing multiple realities to coexist consistently, without contradiction. It is a quiet harmony, a testament to the universe's capacity for coherence and multiplicity simultaneously. You drift through the sensation of timelessness. Past regrets, future anxieties, and present joys all exist together, accessible through reflection and awareness. The illusion of linearity softens, and you feel a profound stillness. There is no rush, no urgency, only the infinite presence of moments awaiting your gentle attention. You sense that this awareness transforms how you might think about action. Choices are meaningful not because they create new outcomes, but because they shape your experience of the block, your journey along the threads of reality. The familiar rhythm of seconds, minutes, and hours becomes a guide for perception, rather than a constraint on possibility. And as your meditation expands, you sense a connection to the physical universe, gravity shaping time, mass curving space, energy flowing in patterns both fixed and dynamic. Time is both landscape and experience, structure and sensation, and you are a traveler through its dimensions, gently tracing paths in the eternal now. Close your eyes and drift into the fabric of spacetime itself, a delicate, invisible canvas that stretches infinitely in all directions. Here, gravity is not merely a force pulling objects together. It is the memory of motion, the silent imprint of mass upon the universe. Each planet, each star, each atom leaves a trace, a curvature that guides the paths of everything that moves nearby. You sense the subtle bending of this cosmic fabric. Imagine a trampoline stretched taut, smooth and unbroken. Place a heavy ball in its center. The surface dips, creating a well that directs the motion of smaller objects rolling across it. Gravity, in this analogy, is the indentation created by mass, a shape that encodes the presence, history, and influence of everything it touches. Time, too, flows differently along these curves, stretched and compressed by the geometry of existence. You float alongside a planet orbiting a star. Its path is not straight, but curved, a silent dance choreographed by gravity's memory. The curvature guides each motion with elegance and precision, forming rhythms that repeat across millions of years. You realize that every orbit, every trajectory, is both a record of the past and a blueprint for the future, the universe's memory written into the bends of spacetime itself. Consider light traveling near a massive star. It does not move in a perfect line. Instead, it follows the gentle slope of the curved fabric. The star's mass shapes the path of photons, guiding them like invisible hands. In this way, gravity becomes a storyteller, recording and influencing events across time and space, a silent historian that connects the past and present through structure and shape. You drift further, observing galaxies spinning in vast clusters. Their motions leave traces that ripple outward, curving spacetime subtly, influencing nearby clusters, and even guiding light from distant quasars. You sense that the universe is a vast, interconnected record, where memory is embedded not only in particles and waves, but in the geometry itself. Every dent, every orbit, every movement carries significance. Time itself, you notice, is entwined with this curvature. Clocks near massive objects tick more slowly, while those in emptier regions move faster. You feel the relativity of experience at a visceral level. Your heartbeat, your breath, the subtle pulses of life are influenced by the shape of space around you. Gravity sculpts the flow of moments, merging the physical and temporal into a single continuum. Even at smaller scales, atoms and molecules respond to curvature, their interactions guided by the underlying shape of spacetime. Gravity's memory is present everywhere, from the majestic sweep of galaxies to the gentle dance of particles. You realize that every movement you make, every mass you carry, leaves a subtle imprint, a ripple that will influence the universe in ways both immediate and distant. You imagine time as a flexible thread, woven through the contours of the cosmos. Past events shape the present not only through causality, but through the curvature of space that encodes their influence. The orbits of planets, the spin of stars, even the paths of photons, all are part of this memory, a record embedded in the shape of existence itself. Your mind drifts into the poetic implications. Gravity is not just a force, it is a language. It tells the story of the cosmos, records interactions, and preserves histories. Time, in this sense, is inseparable from space, memory inseparable from structure. The universe is a vast ledger, each dent and curve a line in a record of cosmic events. You notice how this perspective connects to consciousness. Your thoughts, your awareness, your very presence are influenced by the curvature of spacetime. The universe you inhabit, with its hills, valleys, stars, and galaxies, subtly shapes how you experience time. You are not separate from this record. You are part of it, a living participant in the memory of the cosmos. You float in this awareness, sensing the harmony of curvature, mass, and flow. Gravity, memory, and motion weave together, forming the vast clockwork of existence. You feel time as a sculpted landscape, every moment a ripple in the fabric, every presence an indentation, every movement a story. And as your meditation begins to extend beyond individual planets and stars, you sense the presence of possibility itself, the unfolding patterns of what is yet to come, the future written in potential, waiting to be observed, shaped, and remembered. Close your eyes and imagine the future not as a blank canvas, but as a landscape already formed, stretching beyond your present gaze. Every possible moment, every choice, every breath exists simultaneously, quietly awaiting your awareness. It is not hidden, nor is it distant, it is already present, like a book on a shelf, waiting to be opened. You feel a gentle tension between certainty and possibility. Physics suggests that some aspects of the universe may be deterministic, following precise laws like a river flowing along a set channel. Yet at the quantum level, uncertainty reigns, and probabilities govern events. You sense that the future is both fixed and fluid, structured yet open, like a vast ocean whose waves follow patterns you cannot always predict. You drift along this idea, imagining yourself moving through time like a traveler along a corridor of light. Each step forward is familiar and yet new, revealing what was always there, waiting to be observed. In this view, curiosity is a bridge, an awareness that reaches into the future and connects it to the present. By seeking, by imagining, you become part of the unfolding landscape, tracing the threads that link now to what is yet to be. You notice how determinism creates a sense of coherence. The stars will rise and set, planets orbit faithfully, and physical laws persist across epochs. Even events in human history follow causal chains, interconnected in ways both subtle and profound. You feel the comfort of structure, the quiet assurance that the universe has an underlying order, a rhythm that persists even as individual lives ebb and flow. Yet uncertainty softens this rigidity. At the smallest scales, outcomes are probabilistic, not predetermined. Electrons may choose paths, photons may flicker in superpositions, and particles can exist in multiple states until observed. You sense that the future, while partially shaped by structure, remains malleable in other ways, a delicate interplay between what is fixed and what is possible. You reflect on your own experience of anticipation. When you imagine tomorrow, you feel it as real, a presence you can touch with thought. Planning, hoping, dreaming. These mental acts are subtle forms of interaction with the future. You realize that perception itself is a kind of gentle time travel, reaching forward to engage with moments that exist but have not yet been experienced firsthand. Consider a universe where the future is already written, yet awareness is the key to accessing it. Your curiosity, attention, and imagination become instruments that reveal what was always there, like sunlight illuminating patterns etched into a stone. Time is no longer a distant horizon to be reached. It is a field of latent realities, waiting for consciousness to recognize them. You feel the poetic symmetry of this view. Past, present, and future coexist, each equally real. The arrow of time guides experience, but awareness flows freely across the landscape, perceiving threads that connect moments across durations. You sense that learning, reflection, and decision-making are not merely responses to unfolding events. They are part of the mechanism by which the future is experienced, made tangible, and integrated into the flow of life. Even in daily life, you notice echoes of this concept. Choices seem small, yet each decision shifts awareness, alters paths, and resonates forward. Futures that were possible emerge as real through engagement, attention, and action. You realize that while the universe holds infinite potential, your consciousness is a gentle participant in bringing certain possibilities into presence. You drift among this awareness of time as an ever-present landscape. The universe is vast, structured, and alive with latent futures. Gravity, motion, memory, and choice all intertwine, forming patterns that are simultaneously determined and flexible. You feel that the future is not somewhere to run toward, but a dimension to inhabit with consciousness, perception, and curiosity. As you rest in this meditation, a sense of serenity arises. There is no fear of what is to come, only the gentle unfolding of moments already inscribed in the fabric of reality. You are both observer and participant, gently walking through a future that is as real as the present, accessible through awareness and intention. And as your attention drifts toward the edges of possibility, you glimpse the mechanisms by which humanity might attempt to meet this future deliberately. Tools, machines, and theories that reach into the fabric of spacetime itself. Perhaps time travel is not merely a dream of the mind, but a challenge of physics and imagination combined. Close your eyes and imagine a machine, not yet built, humming softly with potential. Its purpose is extraordinary, to step into the flow of time itself, to move forward or backward through the corridors of past and future. The idea is intoxicating, a blend of imagination, mathematics, and human curiosity, whispering that perhaps the universe has more flexibility than your ordinary senses perceive. You feel the presence of equations floating around you, abstract yet beautiful. Einstein's relativity suggests that spacetime can bend and stretch, creating tunnels, shortcuts, and loops. A wormhole, for instance, could connect distant points in space and time, forming a bridge between moments. Cosmic strings, remnants of the universe's birth, might twist spacetime enough to allow movement across centuries. Every possibility feels like a delicate thread woven through the vast fabric of the cosmos. Yet you sense the immense challenges. The energy required to stabilize a wormhole, to manipulate spacetime, is staggering, far beyond any human capability. Precision must be perfect. A single miscalculation could collapse the tunnel, or worse, fracture causality. Even the smallest quantum fluctuation becomes a monumental obstacle. You feel the humbling weight of ambition, the gap between dream and reality, and the fragile beauty of possibility. You imagine stepping inside such a machine. Light bends, clocks twist, and the familiar forward flow of moments becomes fluid. The past and future stretch and fold around you, inviting observation. You sense both wonder and caution, for to travel in time is not merely to move, but to interact with sequences delicate enough to unravel if disturbed. The universe seems to hold a secret. It permits imagination, but not recklessness. Humanity has always dreamed of time travel, in stories, myths, and science. You feel the gentle thrill of this ambition, a spark that transcends technology. Even the contemplation of possibility is itself an experiment, a stretching of mind across temporal boundaries. The desire to explore, to witness, and to understand drives both thought and civilization, linking consciousness with the deep structure of reality. Theoretical designs unfold in your mind. Tipler cylinders, massive spinning objects, might create loops in spacetime. Traversable wormholes, if stabilized with exotic matter, could form bridges across centuries. Even simple relativistic travel, moving near the speed of light, allows time to dilate, offering a slow, safe version of temporal displacement. Each concept is a meditation on the universe's flexibility, a testament to both creativity and the rigor of physics. You sense the ethical and philosophical weight of such endeavors. Traveling backward raises questions of causality, paradoxes, and responsibility. How would actions in the past affect the present? Would observing a moment change its essence? The universe does not forbid thought experiments, yet it subtly reminds you that such power, if ever achieved, must be approached with reverence and understanding. Even without machines, time travel exists in softer forms. Your mind moves through memory, through imagination, through anticipation. You revisit childhood, project futures, and weave narratives that explore what if without leaving the present. The human brain becomes a gentle laboratory for temporal navigation, a place where curiosity meets creativity, where the mechanics of time are tested in consciousness. You notice the poetic symmetry, the act of dreaming about a time machine, of calculating, imagining, and theorizing, mirrors the process of the universe itself. Possibilities unfold, choices ripple, and ideas traverse the landscape of knowledge. Even if no machine is ever built, the exploration shapes understanding, reshapes perception, and expands the boundary of experience. And as you linger in this meditation, you sense that humanity's fascination with time travel is more than a technical problem. It is a reflection of desire, of curiosity, of the urge to reconcile the fleeting present with the eternal flow of the cosmos. The dream is its own experiment, a subtle bridge connecting imagination with the deep structure of reality. From here, your awareness drifts toward endings, toward the ultimate fate of stars, planets, and time itself. Even time machines, equations, and loops exist within a universe that has a future, one that stretches into stillness and transformation. Close your eyes and drift outward, beyond galaxies, beyond stars, into the deep, quiet expanse of the cosmos. You feel the slow march of eons, the gradual fading of light, the stretching of spacetime into vast emptiness. Time, which once pulsed with urgency, now softens into gentle silence, each moment less distinct, yet part of a grand, inevitable flow. Cosmologists describe multiple endings for the universe. One is heat-death, where energy spreads thin, stars burn out, and the cosmos reaches maximum entropy. Everything becomes uniform, quiet, and cold. You sense the stillness in this scenario, not frightening, but serene, like a room finally settling into silence after centuries of activity. Every heartbeat of the universe has slowed, leaving only potential frozen in space and time. Another vision is the Big Crunch, where expansion halts, and gravity slowly pulls everything back together. Galaxies collapse, stars merge, and matter converges toward a singularity. You imagine the universe folding in on itself, as if pressing its experiences into a final point of reflection. It is a poetic symmetry, a cosmic inhalation, where endings and beginnings are inseparable, joined in a cycle beyond human comprehension. Yet there is also eternal expansion, where space-time stretches endlessly, galaxies drifting ever farther apart. Light itself becomes diluted, distant stars fading into darkness. Time continues, but perception of it becomes nearly irrelevant. You sense that in such vastness, existence becomes subtle, an echo rather than a presence, a gentle whisper of reality stretched thin across infinity. Even in these endings, you notice transformation. Nothing simply vanishes. Matter and energy change form. Black holes persist, radiation drifts, and quantum fluctuations remain as the universe's quiet memory. Time itself may lose its familiar rhythm, yet the story of existence is preserved in patterns, in traces, in the fabric of space-time. You sense that endings are not annihilation, but metamorphosis, a shift into new, unfathomable forms. You feel the soft emotional resonance of time fading. Seconds, minutes, centuries, all are ephemeral markers, yet they have meaning because you experience them. The passing of moments is not lost, but integrated into the memory of the cosmos itself. Entropy, decay, and dissolution are simply part of the gentle artistry of transformation, shaping the universe's vast canvas. Your mind drifts through imagery of stars dimming, planets cooling, and galaxies slowing their rotation. Time, once a river of urgency, becomes a lake, still and reflective, holding all that has passed and hinting at what may never come. You sense a quiet meditation on impermanence, a gentle acceptance that change, decay, and ending are natural, essential aspects of cosmic life. Even the notion of time itself becomes fluid. In these distant futures, the ticking of seconds may lose significance, yet the relationships between events, the memory encoded in matter, and the echoes of energy persist. The universe is a record, a story, a song whose final notes reverberate quietly through eternity. You notice that this awareness changes your perception of life and experience. Moments gain tenderness, choices feel profound, and the fleeting present becomes infinitely precious. Every star that shines, every heartbeat you feel, every thought you entertain resonates within the vast, enduring narrative of the cosmos. Time, even when ending, is an expression of continuity and beauty. And as your consciousness drifts toward the outermost edges of possibility, you sense a return, a gentle loop back to awareness, memory, and presence. Even as the universe itself approaches stillness, the experience of being, of observing, of existing, carries a quiet, enduring rhythm. The end of time is not an absence, but a transformation, a reminder that all flow, all change, all motion is part of a vast, unbroken story. From here, your journey turns inward, returning to awareness itself, to the personal experience of time, to the inner landscapes where travel is possible without motion, where memory, imagination, and breath become portals to infinite temporal journeys. Close your eyes and feel yourself as both observer and participant, the traveler who moves not through machines, wormholes, or equations, but through consciousness itself. Your mind is a vessel, your awareness a bridge, and every thought, every memory, every breath is a journey across invisible threads of time. You are already moving, gently and continuously, through the corridors of experience. You sense the past as a living presence. Memories rise like quiet waves, carrying moments that shaped you, whispered lessons, and echoes of laughter and loss. Each recollection is a doorway, a portal through which you travel effortlessly, touching lives, events, and feelings as they once were. You notice that remembering is a form of time travel, intimate, personal, and profound. The present envelops you like soft light. Here, you inhabit awareness fully, feeling each breath, each heartbeat, each subtle motion of thought. Time is not a rigid structure but a river whose currents you glide upon. You are simultaneously still and moving, floating gently through the now, sensing that the act of perception itself is a voyage across dimensions of experience. Imagination becomes your companion. You drift into possibilities, into paths not taken, into choices not yet made. Each imagined future is a landscape as real as memory, waiting to be visited. You sense that curiosity, reflection, and intention are instruments of travel, guiding you along unseen tracks of time, where the universe unfolds not just outside, but within the consciousness that observes it. You feel the subtle interplay between the external cosmos and your inner world. Stars, galaxies, and the curvature of space-time mirror patterns in thought, memory, and perception. Gravity, loops, branching realities, and the block universe are not distant abstractions. They are reflections of the rhythms, connections, and structures within your own mind. Awareness and existence intertwine, revealing a universe that is both vast and intimately personal. You notice how moments layer upon each other. Past, present, and future are not separate, but interwoven, like threads in a tapestry. Your experiences, thoughts, and dreams create a living map of temporal journeys, where each step forward is informed by the echoes of what has been, and by glimpses of what may come. The journey through time is continuous, intimate, and gentle. Even the fleeting now carries depth. A single breath, a single heartbeat, contains echoes of the cosmos, light from distant stars, energy flowing through your body, the subtle passage of time in every atom. You feel yourself as both traveler and terrain, an integral part of the universe's ongoing story, moving through moments already written, yet experienced anew in awareness. You sense that this form of travel is the purest and most profound. No machine, no paradox, no theory can surpass the journey of consciousness itself. Memory, imagination, perception, these are the vessels of temporal exploration. In every act of attention, you are traversing time, gently unfolding the layers of existence in a rhythm as soft and essential as your own breath. You feel gratitude for the journey. Every chapter, every thought, every reflection has been part of a path guiding you toward this realization. Time travel is not something to be achieved. It is something you have always been doing. Every moment lived, every memory recalled, every possibility imagined. These are the movements of a traveler, infinitely subtle, beautifully continuous, and deeply personal. And as you close your eyes fully, sinking into stillness, you understand. The universe, with all its complexity, is mirrored in your awareness. You have already traveled through stars, loops, multiverse, and the end of time itself. And now, in the gentle present, you rest, the traveler at last at peace within the fabric of now, ready to drift softly into sleep.